Hey everybody. Today I want to talk to you about a simple conversation, but something that's very timely for right now. And I'm going to use a simple concept, that of a 4-day work week pro, somebody who's gotten used to this way of understanding the world, of putting life before work, of finding a way to balance making money, making an impact, having time for friends, family, and life. And whether that person is an apprentice and they're learning how to do these things and they don't yet have a 4-day work week job, or they're a 4-day work week employee or a 4-day work week freelancer, entrepreneur, business owner, there's a mindset that goes with having a handle on this. Again, being a pro. And one of the core ideas comes back to some of our apprentice lessons. And in the apprentice, a lot of the work is focused around the very simple concept of how do you manage your time outside of work. So there's all this focus on the 4-day work weekend, which in essence is getting to a 3-day weekend and that sort of stuff. But part of it, of course, is about how do you manage your life outside of work? Because as we've discussed in the 4-day work week apprentice content and in my book, Put Your Money Where Your Soul Is, if you don't have your life outside of work managed, not managed like controlled, but if you don't have a handle on it, if you're not enjoying your relationships with the free time you do have, well, of course, it's not going to make you sense to make more free time. If you're wasting the money that you already have available, well, making more money isn't going to solve your problems. If you already waste the time that you have, well, having more time isn't going to get something or get you to a higher level of understanding or operating in the world. And if you buy things that you don't need, well, you're going to make more money. You're just going to buy more things you don't need. So again, going back to how a pro handles this, the way you would do this is to really just stick with fundamentals. And for some people, this gets a little boring, but it really is the core of how you make sure that you're keeping things simple and you're keeping things in a way that works. So right now, there's a lot going on with the pandemic around the world, depending on where you are. I happen to live in Florida in the United States, so we've got a lot going on right now where we're getting perhaps a lot more than we should be as far as cases, and we're maybe not managing it that great. So it's impacting a lot of what can happen. It's impacting our ability to go outside, to work, to go out and have fun, and all these different things. And as this is going on, in our case, this is now at this moment, I usually don't date the episodes, but it kind of is relevant right now. We're in the middle of July, so it's been 4 months for us in the United States, in this part where I'm at. And so the kids are getting restless. They want to do different things. There's different things going on as far as what we could be doing with our time. And so now for 4 months now, we've been really kind of just doing the best we can. Some of my friends who don't work from home, of course, they're hustling. If they are working, they're trying to keep healthy and stay sane and all that stuff. But throughout this time, and some of you all in different parts of the world might have already gone through this stage, there's been this time where there's like all this extra free time that we weren't counting on. And people that I know were saying, well, Wade, now, what do I do with all this time? Gosh, I love time with my kids. I love time with my family, but wow, I've got so much more than I ever really bargained for right now. And I kind of don't know what to do with that. And that really is the challenge when I talk with people who are entrepreneurs who have the money and they can afford to work a 4-day work week, but they don't. Very often it's because their life outside of work isn't inspiring enough or exciting enough for them to do it. So when a trip comes up, could be a family trip or could be a trip with old friends or something else, or a business trip. If they're excited about a trip, magically they can work a 4-day work week, but day to day they can't seem to make that happen because there's not really a good enough reason, if you will, not an exciting enough reason to hustle to get the results and go forward. Well, similarly, right now, if you're having all this extra time with your family and the people you love, your kids, whatever it might be, you might find that a lot of things are going to come up for you that maybe you haven't looked at before. You might have a lot more quality time with your family than you might have even wanted, perhaps. But this is where the approach of the pro is really all about just being present with what is. This is not about saying, I wish it were this way. This is not about saying, I hope it were this way, or darn it, it stinks that it's this way. So if you use a survival mindset, you'll be used to complaining. Well, it's not this way. It shouldn't be this way. There's blame, there's victim. If you use a future-based mindset, kind of a mind game thing, oh, well, later it's going to be awesome then, and later on, and success, and later all that's going to happen. if you use a more significance mindset, a present moment mindset, you're going to say, okay, this is what is. How do I enjoy and make the best of what is? Or if you were to look at this from perhaps if you were talking to somebody who was talking psychology, they'd say, well, a survival-based mindset is very past-based. And so what happened yesterday, or how did things used to be, or I can't wait for things to go back the way they used to be, and why aren't they that way anymore? And if you were too future-obsessed or too success-obsessed, you'd say, well, in the future, here's what's going to happen. I've got all these goals and all these things that are going to happen, but see, I'm still not living right now. Now I'm living in this other time space. And compare that to present moment awareness. I'm right here. This is what's going on. I've got a lot of time with my family. I'm going to make the most of that. Maybe if you don't have a family, or maybe if you're maybe not in the situation where you're spending as much time with quality people, or you're alone at the moment, well, I'm going to work on those projects I always wanted to work on. And I'm not minimizing the need for social connection. We as humans have that, so I'm definitely not advocating that you forget about that or neglect that. But looking at what do you have that's in front of you? And so the same way there are some people that no matter where they are, they're always looking somewhere else. So they're at work and they're thinking about play. And they're at play and they're thinking about work. Or they're at one job, they're thinking about another job. Or they're in one relationship, they're thinking about another relationship. So much of this, again, the pro is about being present. And so if we take that to our relationships dimension, we'd say, well, whatever relationships we have available to us, we're going to make the most of those where they are. And that might actually mean that there's some growth that might happen. There's been so much growth that I've seen in my relationship with my family. I've grown so much as a father. There's a lot of things I really, I guess was maybe too busy to look at or didn't want to look at. There's some habits I have that really aren't that great as a dad, and I try to be a great dad. I think we all try to do great at what we do. As a husband, there's certainly areas where I now look back and say, wow, I really wasn't as present with things as I could be. I wasn't actively a jerk most of the time, but there are things that just either I took for granted or I didn't see. So with the relationships, how can I be present right here where I am? Rather than saying, well, what did they used to be like? Or what should they be like? Or how could they be different? Or later on this will happen. Or I'm just going to set a bunch of goals and I'm going to do a bunch of goal planning and I'm going to plan. I'm going to occupy my life until this is done. That's really an approach that, again, a lot of people that don't really want to be present in life take. And that's to a certain degree an obstacle to being present with life. It's an obstacle to being present with a 4-day work week lifestyle or just enjoying life outside of work or just life in general. So with our relationships, again, how can you love the one you're with in a good way, assuming that's your wife or someone you're supposed to be loving? How can you be present with the people who are in front of you and what you're, where you're at? When it comes to your time, again, well, I used to be able to do this. I mean, I haven't played beach volleyball in 4 months. That's my favorite thing to do. It's my favorite pastime to do. And yet I've had these last 4 months to spend a lot more time playing basketball with my son and really be present with him and enjoy time with him that I wouldn't have had otherwise. He's 14. He kind of wants to be all over the place doing different things. He's a great kid, and it slowed things down. And so this has really been a gift for us to spend time together. Same thing with my 11-year-old daughter. So, and my wife as well. So all of these things, again, your relationships and your time, how you spend your time, whether it's activities or doing certain things. I'm exercising more than I was before. I'm making time for different things. So again, the pro is going to say, how do I make the best of what I have where I am? As far as money goes, I'm going to spend my money within what I have. Not, well, when this happens, I'll make more money, or later on. Keep my spending where I'm at right now. And probably one of the biggest challenges, one of the biggest confusing things for a lot of people right now is if you're in a country that maybe has some, let's say in the US, we have these stimulus checks going out. And I talk to people, and some people I talk to, it just kind of feels like they're just spending that. And it's just money I got in, I'm going to go shopping with it. And now I got to hustle and grind to make the money. And no, the idea was to have it be that you didn't have to do that. And so a lot of this, and certainly with things, gosh, for those of us who love buying gadgets, I love buying gadgets. I used to buy a lot of gadgets when I was single and had money to throw around, or at least thought I did. And as a parent now with other responsibilities, and as I balance how I invest my time, how I make money, and knowing that there is a connection between the two. So if I waste a lot of my money, it will end up wasting my time. And I really do, at least for me, value. My kids are 14 and 11. They're going to be sort of out of the house soon, or hopefully. No, I'm just kidding. But you know, out of the house next 7 years or so between the two of them pursuing something else. So I want to be present with them as much as I can now. So all of this on the personal side is all about being really present with what's in front of you. And then now take that to your business side, whether you're an employee or an entrepreneur or a freelancer. If you're looking for work, how can you help somebody? And how can you shift opportunities? You might say, well, wait, I've always been in this certain industry. And, you know, just as possibly an editorial, though there's a lot of data behind it to show what industries have faltered, a lot of our luxury industries are going down right now and not doing as well because, of course, people need their essential foods and supplies and whatever it might be. And so the more luxurious things, the things they can afford to do without, maybe they don't do without them normally when they have the money, but those businesses are kind of going sideways, a lot of them. So if you're an employee in a business where you think, gosh, I'm not sure if this will be here in 3 months or 6 months or 3 years, it might be time to be looking somewhere else. Again, dealing with what's in front of you. If you're an employee, how can you, as best as possible, look out for the employer you're looking to help right now? Maybe now is not the time to be looking for that 4-day work week opportunity if the boss really needs you and if things are really tight. Or maybe if things are slowing down and the boss is saying, gosh, I don't have jobs for everybody, or I don't have work for everybody, maybe it's time to say, hey, I'll work 4 days. I'll even take the prorated pay cut for now. I mean, I'd like to find ways to make more of the money, but two things. One, 80% of a job income-wise is better than zero. And even demonstrating that you're one of the people that's willing to be part of the solution, say, how can I help you? You as the boss, you know, what can I do? And, you know, for those of y'all who have not run a business before, the notion of a boss is kind of a very interesting concept. Most people, when they think of a boss, they think of some person that lords over hundreds of people. And certainly in some corporations, that's the case. And usually the boss isn't even the boss because they answer to somebody else and somebody else and somebody else. And then they answer to either the main owner or the stockholders. But in a small business, very often the boss is just as frightened at the moment or just as uncertain about things, just as kind of trying to figure things out as you are. So opening those lines of communication, being able to see how can you connect, how can you add value in a way that makes it easier for your the people you work with, for your boss, for the team to do better. If you're a freelancer, my goodness, right now, I can't think of a better time to be helping people deal with what's going on right now. How can you be talking to small business owners who perhaps can't keep their full team? How can you help them get done what they need to get done? Not so much to compete with the employees and try to like swipe their jobs or steal their jobs, but in the standpoint of with the small business owner that says, okay, I had to cut 80% of my staff already, but now I still need these things done. And some people are open to that, some people aren't. Some people that have a very strong employee mindset will say, you know what, I don't want anything other than a full job all the time. I don't have to hustle for work. Freelancers are used to, yeah, you hustle for work, you find work, whether it's on a work site like Upwork or Fiverr or one of those sites or any other places out there. You know, some people are used to that and they say, okay, great, I'll do that. And if you're thinking of being a freelancer, well, or starting a side hustle, now's a great time to do it. One of the biggest opportunities that's being seized right now, and I can see it in some of the areas as far as people are starting to create their own courses online, start their own side businesses, doing their own freelance work. So all those different opportunities are out there. And then as an entrepreneur or as a small business owner, what do you do to relook at your business model? What's really proven to be virus proof in essence? I mean, what really has proven to be something that's so strong of a business model? What hasn't? What is going to be likely to perhaps be able to come back to some level in 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, depending on your business model? What's probably not coming back at all? Or what might be a year or 2 or 3 before it comes back? And how can you approach this just as another shift? So much of this, the short answer to how do pros handle this is they look for what is. And there's a gentleman who's a mentor who I followed at different times. His name is Perry Marshall. Really great leader in so many ways. He has a book called 80-20 Sales and Marketing. It's really great on productivity and where you invest your time and gain results and whatnot. And one of the things he mentions, and I might not say the exact same way, but he talks about himself in his bio. He talks about how he's a guy that drank the pink Kool-Aid and really believed in everything. And then when a lot of people get disillusioned and they realized, okay, things aren't as easy as it was, or sold to be, a lot of people, maybe 60, 80, maybe 90%, just sort of drop out and they say, well, I was told it was going to be easy. I was told it was going to be this. It's not that way. I'm taking my ball and I'm going home and that's it. And they kind of opt out. And he describes himself as one of those people who, after disillusionment, after, oh, wow, it's not going to be the way I thought it was, says, okay, but I'm going to still figure this out. And so I'm going to encourage you that that's really the choice. That's the decision to say, okay, I'm still going to figure this out. Because while there are so many things going on in the world right now, if you're even watching this, it means you have access to internet or Wi-Fi or even a phone. And without going into a whole long soapbox speech, there are people who have it better than you financially and people who don't have it as well as you financially. There are people who would gladly trade places with you for the rest of their lives, the way your life is today, right now. And there's some that would, of course, never do that. So in all of this, it's not so much about getting caught in the distractions of what could be, should be, would be, he said, she said. When it comes to social media, if you're using your Facebook to connect with people and stay connected and spread positivity, awesome. If it's becoming something that pulls down your energy, not so good. So again, I encourage you to consider, what do the pros do? In any industry, the pros, whether they're athletes or entertainers or musicians or business people or teachers or leaders, the pros look for not just what I wish it would be, but how is it and what can I do with that? And so again, as a 4-day work week pro, I really encourage you that the main way for you to manage this financial uncertainty is for you to just be very clear about what the fundamentals are. Stick with those fundamentals. Had a hard time saying it there. Stick with your fundamentals. Stay away from perhaps the extra things, the distractions, the shiny objects for the moment, but be very clear about what it is that's gotten you where you need to get, and be very clear about where you think you'd like to go next. Keep your expenses low. Keep things real simple. Think like a startup and keep that bootstrapping mentality. And overall, just see what you can do to help other people. Right now is such an opportunity in the world to make a difference. And you can do that for selfless reasons. You can do that to help other people. You can do that if you believe in what goes around comes around, or karma, or however you want to say it. And even if you're selfish, consider the idea, I'd say fact, but I don't know if it's a fact, but consider the idea that as technology is making opportunities available around the world, if you're one of the higher income earners in the world, so let's say you're here and the rest of the world is down here, technology is creating more even opportunities, and something like that is happening. So you might be helping people that are part of an emerging market or that helps you grow your business. It might be that the person right now that makes 1/10 of what you make or 100th of what you make is going to be part of an economy that's soon going to be making 5 to 10 times what they're making now. So it's an opportunity to really engage. It's an opportunity to really seize things and be part of a solution. I encourage you to do that. And whatever you do, continue reading books that are positive, connecting with people who are positive, listening to podcasts or other things that help you stay focused. And whatever I can do to help you, please let me know. As always, I look forward to helping you create the life and the lifestyle you most desire. If you haven't already, check out the website and see the different ways that either some of our free products, the things, or free coaching tools or whatnot of how I can help you, or just reach out to me. So I hope all is well with you and your loved ones. Hope you're staying safe, staying healthy. Let me know whatever I can do to help you. And as always, look forward to helping you create your abundant and sustainable 4-day work week lifestyle so you can better enjoy your family, your friends, and your life. Thanks.